rooting on the Bengals in Britain. A group called Bengals UK is cheering on the Bengals from across the pond. And this morning I'm joined by one of the organizers of the group, Paul Hirons, who is Zooming with us live from London. And Paul, thank you so much for joining us to talk about the Bengals. I have to admit, I never imagined I would be talking all things Bengals with someone from Britain. You have to tell me how this group came to be. Tell me about the history of Bengals UK.
Hi, John. Thanks for having me on. Well, the world is indeed a wonderful and magical place, isn't it? And in 2014, we started talking on Twitter, fans amongst us, talking about the games or during the games. And we realized that there were people of a like mind dotted around the country. So we organized a drink in a pub, because obviously the best ideas always come from a pint in a pub somewhere. And Bengals UK was kind of born, really. A guy called Mike Smith started it and then passed it on to me. And then we've just been growing like crazy ever since. We've been having meetups. We do a weekly podcast. We do an online tailgate every week before each game. We have all sorts of things going on, and our mission is to grow and unite the fan base over here. As I say, we're all dotted around the country, so it's all about bringing people together under one umbrella, you know. So, I mean, it's been great fun. I mean, look at those lovely faces there. It's been an amazing journey. We've made friends for life. Both in this country and over in the States as well, because of course the Bengals came over to the UK, have come over to the UK twice, which has been crucial for us as a group to kind of grow, right, and to get people together. So it's been a wonderful journey, and I think this season is almost the icing on the cake, really. Everyone's super excited for a change.
Yeah, absolutely. I would think that saying football in Britain, American-style football is not the first thing that comes to mind. So it's trying to convert people to being American football fans. Is that a hard sell?
No, not really, John. I think the NFL is well known here now. It has been growing and growing. And as I mentioned earlier, the London games have really helped the profile of the sport. And, you know, there's a lot of, you know, I wouldn't say it challenges soccer or cricket or rugby over here, but it's not too far down the pecking order, you know. So convincing people to become an NFL fan is not a problem. Convincing people to become a Bengals fan, especially this season, has become easier, shall we say. Everything gets easier when the team is winning. Yeah,
absolutely. A truer thing has not been said. You talked about it being kind of sparse right now. How do people get together, so to speak? I know you got to have the podcast and you have the networking, that sort of thing, but a football game is something that's best taken in with other people who love the game. Do you have access to seeing it, seeing the games live or hearing them live? How do you enjoy this together?
Yeah, that's a really good question, John, because this group is all about uniting people, because as I mentioned, we're all dotted around the country. It's not like Cincinnati where everyone is concentrated pretty much in the city. You know, I know that there are fans in California and New York and Chicago and Nashville and all over the place, really. But you're right. The whole NFL watching experience is very different over here. We, outside of the big cities, we don't have sports bars, so we tend to watch the games in dark rooms on our own on our laptops, thanks to NFL Game Pass. If the games are on in sports bars, we have one broadcaster, so we're kind of beholden to that broadcaster as to what game they show each week. And over the past few years, they haven't shown Bengals games because we're not a big draw and we weren't a winning team. This year has changed somewhat. We've been on that channel sort of 4 or 5 times. So it's a very different viewing experience over here. Yeah. But in terms of meetups, you know, like anywhere, it's been difficult these past 2 years. We tend to have around 3 or 4 a year. But that obviously stopped in 2020. We did have a meetup a much anticipated meetup last October because the restrictions over here kind of lifted. But restrictions came back because of Omicron around Christmas times. They've just literally lifted now. So we are planning a meetup in 2 locations in the UK this weekend to watch the AFC Championship game. So those restrictions being lifted have been very welcome and very nicely timed as well.
Absolutely, just in time for the playoff games here. We're just about out of time, but I got 2 quick things I need for you to do for me.
Sure.
First, have you had an opportunity yet to take in the delicacy that we call Skyline Chili here, or even Kansas City barbecue?
Well, I'm a vegetarian, so it's a no to the latter there, John.
Yeah, okay.
I've been to Cincinnati a few times, and of course, when you've supported a team like me for so long, sort of 35 years, you get an emotional connection with the city and its people and its cultures and its traditions. So yes, I have tried Skyline. Other chilies I know exist, but I went for Skyline, and the veggie version was actually very tasty.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that you enjoyed it. And finally, give me your best Who Day.
Who Day! Come on, let's go this weekend. Let's bring it home.
All right. Paul Hirons of Bengals UK. Thank you so much for talking with us.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me, John.